Hi, Geminis. Totally unprepared. Sorry about that. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll notice I do this a lot. Sometimes, the camera starts and I'm lost in translation. So sorry about that. I'm here. Hi. Welcome to your reading for June 29th through July 4th. Cannot believe that is here already. I don't know about you. I apologize. I was not here this last week. I had a lot of things happening in my world, and so I did miss readings for you last week. My apologies. But I am here now, and so Gemini, let's get started. Um, so your overall theme for the week, you got the King of Autumn, but you got him in reverse, and so let's talk about that. The King of Autumn is about, things are just going your way. You're able to stick up for yourself. You're able to stand up for what you believe, and you're able to do all those things. But in reverse, it's just the opposite, right? Things aren't really going your way because you don't really stand up for what is right. You avoid that conflict. And so that's going to be a theme for you this week. You are going to be having some conflict that's not being resolved because and it's going to be because you're not standing up for what you believe is right. You're letting things go, right? You're not trying to rock the boat, so to speak. And so make sure that you're aware that this is going to kind of be a theme. So there's going to be some conflict going on this week for you Geminis, and part of that is going to be because it's going to require that you stick up for yourself, because if you don't, then that's going to um, create a little more turmoil for you. And so be aware of that. Obstacle for you this week is King of Summer, and that was also actually in reverse. And the King of Summer actually came up for another sign also in a different placement, but normally that's really about advice, because the King of Summer is very honorable and very, very gracious, and really gives excellent advice. But in reverse, it's the opposite, right? So you might be getting some advice from someone who isn't quite as honorable, isn't quite as trustworthy, isn't quite as devoted to what your highest good is. And so be cautious of that. That's going to be an obstacle for you this week. So make sure that, and I think it goes back to the other card about you not being assertive enough in what is right for you and what you believe and what you know to be true. If you're following the advice of somebody who's not coming from an honorable place, then they may be giving you the advice of the bad going the other direction, right? So be aware of that, Gemini. And for your advice from the universe this week, you got the Seven of Winter. And what is the Seven of Winter? There's always a choice. There's always a better choice, right? So think about the previous two cards, right? Your obstacle is you're going to be given advice by somebody who's not really very honorable, who's not doesn't have your greatest interest at heart, and so because of that, it's going to cause you to rock the boat because you're not wanting to rock the boat, so it's going to cause additional turmoil. And you have to remember there's a better choice. There's always a better way. You don't have to take every piece of advice everybody gives you, and you can't always avoid rocking the boat. Sometimes there's a better choice, and sometimes that choice is setting healthy boundaries and saying, you know what, that's just not for me, and I don't agree with that, and I'm not going to put my energy into that. So be careful of that this week, my Gemini friends. And for your healing with fairies, because I think it just goes so well, this oracle deck goes so well with my fairy tarot, you have moving forward fearlessly. Gee, that goes back to that first card, right? I wasn't prepared for that either. You are making big breakthroughs in your life by putting your divinely inspired ideas into action. Trust that you are guided each step of the way. Those gut feelings, dreams, and strong impulses you've been getting aren't just examples of wishful thinking. They represent the germination of new projects and situations that are vehicles for your divine life mission. Don't ignore these gifts from heaven, which come on the wings of reword. They come on the wings of repetitive, strong thoughts and feelings. The fairies ask that you honor your feelings by taking at least one step in the direction of making your dreams and desires a reality. Fearlessly take one step to dismantle any part of your life that is out of integrity. Take another step towards realizing your heart's desire. Even a tiny step that is remotely related to improving your life will make you feel that you're soaring with the fairy realm. Keep taking one step a day, and soon your dreams will be a reality. And I think that just goes right back to what we were just talking about with the other cards, right? Because you're not willing to stand up for yourself. That's kind of the theme for the week. You're not willing to say, this is not in my highest alignment, right? It's kind of been the theme. But guess what? If you're not going to do it, who's going to do it for you? And so moving forward fearlessly means sometimes you have to step up and say, you know what, that's not in alignment with my highest good. That's not for me. It goes right back to that 7 of winter, right? I'm going to make choices that are in alignment with my highest good. I'm going to make it, what resonates with me on my core level. And it's okay. It's not being, you don't have to be a jerk about it, but it's okay to stick up for yourself. It's okay to set those boundaries, and it's okay to say, I'm not going to put up with the crap. And especially if there's someone over there whispering in your ear bad intentions, right? So make sure that you're really focused on that this week. And then for your chakra work this week, you did get your sacral chakra, right? Inspired innovation. You have the ability to resolve tides of envy and fear with stability. You are courageous and enthusiastic, creating what needs to become in order to move forward with your life. Your energy is inspired and activated by your innovative drive, and in turn, you inspire and motivate others to achieve their fullest potential. You are a beacon of light and possibility. What new ideas are coming to you, and how can you bring them into being? Revel in this moment of inspiration and let it help you birth new beauty in the world. And a great stone for that is goldstone and the herb of cinnamon. And again, and that goes right back to the Healing with the Fairies card, right? Take a step each day to realize your true life potential, right? You have the ideas, you know what's right, you know where you're supposed to be going, you know where you want to be going. So the only thing stopping you is you. Yes, 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 indeed. And so for good intentions for you this week is ancestral love. The second time this card's come up today too. It might be, when multiple cards come up for the week, under different signs, it's kind of a sign for all of us, isn't it? We can always learn something from that. I honor the wisdom of those who came before me and seek to send sweet healing medicine through my ancestral lines, backward and forward, healing those behind and ahead of me as I heal myself. My intention is to bless my life by sharing wisdom and value and supporting all original ancestral contracts through loving action. And the stone for that is petrified wood, essential oils, white sage. And think about this, is sometimes when we don't stick up for ourselves, it's because we have been taught that, right? We have been shown that that standing up for yourself is not always the right thing to do. And it may have caused some fear or trauma in your life, and I've seen that in my life. I've seen it in people in my ancestral line too. And so think about that. Think about when you start healing that, when you start stepping into your own light, into your own truth, into your own path, and you start healing those things within yourself, you also heal them within your ancestral line. And so you can always, think about, is the cause of this anxiety over this situation, or my lack of wanting to move in this situation, really from me, or is it from somebody in my line, right? I mean, I know that I have issues that don't belong to me. They were issues that belonged to people in my family, but unfortunately, they landed in my lap. So some of my healing I've had to look back through my ancestors and go, what did they do? What did my mom go through? What did my dad go through? What about my grandparents? What happened to them that has been a reflection then on me? Right? So think about that. Think about healing that and setting that as a good intention this week, because I think that's going to help you stick up for yourself more. If you start looking at the reason you're not, could be ancestral. In fact, I'm getting a pretty good clue that it is. I'm going to double check myself here with my pendulum, because I think that that's accurate for you, Gemini. Very accurate. Pendulum agrees. Very accurate. Okay, the second thing is healed shadow. My shadow is no longer denied, but is rather fully acknowledged and integrated into my life, half of the whole of my beauty. I integrate my shadow and see the gifts that dwell within it, bringing them gently and intentionally into my heart and my work in the world. And stone for that is golden healer quartz, and the essential oil is angelica. And I'm going to go back to what I said about, sometimes we don't stick up for ourselves because we've been taught in some way, shape, or form, either through ourselves or through seeing it in a family member, that sticking up for ourselves is bad. It's a bad outcome. It creates more conflict. It's too traumatic. It's too, unnecessary, right? And so because of that, that creates a shadow within us, right? That's what shadow is. Shadow is those parts of ourselves that we deny, those parts of ourselves that we try to keep hidden, those parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. Okay, so if you're not willing to stick up for yourself, then there's a shadow behind that. Why? What is the reason for it? And so I'm stressing this because it's what's shown up in these cards for you today. And I also know that I've seen this in the work that I've done, in shadow work, and in healing myself, and watching other people go through this with me. So, really think about that. Think about the way we react or don't react, right, is all part of our shadow. It's not everything we do is part of our shadow. Don't misunderstand me. I didn't word that very well. I apologize. But those things that cause us fear, anxiety, and things that we avoid, guess what? That's shadow work. That's your shadow talking. There's a nugget there. And so, Gemini, for you this week, maybe is really digging into that, really digging into why do I not want to stand up for what I know is right? Why do I want to always play it safe and sit on the sidelines? Take bad advice from other people and follow what they say over what I know to be true in my heart for myself. So really think about that and set that intention to call in the ancestral line, work on that healing, and also integrate that shadow of, you know what? I really don't like rocking the boat because this really bad thing happened to me. And so I don't want to, because but understand that and recognize that and say, that's true. But that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen every time. And if that's the situation, if I've said something in the past that has caused more trauma for me or caused greater conflict, is it because of the way I approached it in the past? And how can I change that? What was the situation? Is that a similar situation now? How can I approach it from a different lens? How can I approach it with a different intention or attention? Right? So Think about that. I'm going to just check in with the pendulum again, make sure that we're still on point here, that's accurate information for you. And the pendulum does agree with me. So, and because life loves you, Geminis, I'm willing to love myself. Look in the mirror and say to yourself, I love you. I really love you. Don't be shy. It's just another way of saying life loves you. I think that's going to be important for you this week, Gemini, as you really look into the stuff that's going on, right? You're going to have to look at, do you love yourself? And maybe that's the reason you don't stick up for yourself too. Maybe you don't have enough faith and trust in yourself. And so really think about, dig into this, because I think that there's some good nuggets in there for you. Dig in and look at, how did I handle conflict? Is it something that really isn't about me? Is it something that happened to somebody else that I saw, that I witnessed, that traumatized me? Is it because I just don't love myself and trust myself enough to think I can handle this, right? Because that's when we start digging in and we start really getting into the meat of it. That's when real true healing happens, right? All right, my Gemini friends. I love you with all my heart and soul. If you'd like to follow me on Facebook, if you're not already a Facebook follower, I am on Facebook at Benedict Healing Arts. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button. I hope that you guys have a fantastic week. Remember that I love you, and I will see you next time.